How is it possible that thousand-year-old depictions of the Anunnaki show the gods carrying a mysterious bag, and halfway around the world we find the same thing depicted by ancient Mesoamerican civilizations? Depicted by the ancient Sumerian representations of the Anunnaki, the mysterious handbag of the gods is seen in several cultures in America, Mesopotamia and Egypt. Compelling evidence, found in the last couple of decades, has proven mankind is a species with amnesia. The countless discoveries made all across the globe have forced us to question everything about the origin of mankind, ancient cultures and history in general. Slowly and piece by piece, we have been exploring and gathering small pieces of a massive puzzle that has driven us in the right direction, when searching for answers mainstream scholars have not been able to fully answer. How can you explain the countless similarities among civilizations that inhabited Earth thousands of years ago, which was separated by oceans and tens of thousands of miles? Why did nearly all ancient cultures on Earth decide to build pyramids? And why are so many pyramids eerily similar? It's as if nearly all ancient civilizations followed the same blueprint. It's as if somehow, ancient cultures were interconnected thousands of years ago. One of the most interesting and mind-boggling enigmas can be traced back to ancient Mesopotamia, commonly referred to as the cradle of civilization, where a mysterious motif has driven many authors to question mainstream archaeology. The ancient Sumerians depicted the Anunnaki with curious items. Two of the most interesting objects seen in the ancient Sumerian deities were the watch seen on nearly all depictions, and the mysterious bag carried by the gods. Curiously, if we travel thousands of miles around the globe from Mesopotamia to the Americas, we will find that the ancient Maya, Aztecs and other ancient civilizations utilized the same motif when depicting their deities. Furthermore, if we travel to Egypt we will see that the symbol was also carried around by the gods, just as the mystery handbag in ancient Mesopotamia and the Americas. Why is it that ancient civilizations in America, Egypt, and ancient Mesopotamia depicted their deities carrying a mysterious object in their hand? Is it possible that all ancient cultures in America, Egypt and Mesopotamia were visited by the same gods? Interestingly, the ancient Anunnaki were nearly always represented in a humanoid form, even though numerous traits indicate clear differences between the Anunnaki and ordinary humans. The facial features of the ancient Anunnaki gods were always well hidden, thanks to their large beards. Just as the ancient Sumerians depicted their deities in a humanoid form, the ancient Egyptians and cultures in the Americas did the same thing. The obvious question here is why? Why did ancient cultures, separated thousands of miles from each other, depict their deities in a nearly identical way? Furthermore, how is it even possible that the ancient Sumerians depicted their gods carrying a mysterious bag, and that people halfway across the world did the same thing? At an archaeological site in Mexico, we will find a stone stele depicting the ancient Mesoamerican god Quetzalcoatl, who is curiously holding in his hand the same bag we see in ancient Sumerian depictions. If we travel to Tula, an important regional center which reached its height as the capital of the Toltec Empire, between the fall of Teotihuacan and the rise of Tenochtitlan, we will find their massive Atlantean statues, and if we observe closely, we will notice that once again the mysterious handbag is present. If we travel to Gobekli Tepe, located on a remote hilltop in southern Turkey, we will find the same bag. Göbekli Tepe is one of the oldest, if not oldest, ancient megalithic temples on our planet. Their intricate massive stone pillars arranged into a set of rings stand tall and proud, telling a millennia-old story, when different civilizations ruled over the planet. The massive stones were believed to have been carved by Neolithic hunter-gatherers some 12,000 years ago. The mysterious temple, which consists of 3 huge stone circles, was deliberately buried for an unknown reason in the distant past. After years of digging, archaeologists investigating the ancient site have failed to decipher the symbols or the site's purpose. No one has been able to understand how ancient mankind, which was believed to be incapable of such feats, erected some of the greatest stone works on the planet. Does the presence of the mysterious bag, carried by the gods, indicate that these two cultures were connected in a mysterious way? Why did ancient cultures depict their gods carrying the mysterious handbag? What was inside it? And most importantly, how is it even possible that the mysterious handbag is present in different civilizations around the globe, which according to mainstream scholars were never connected? What if the ancient Anunnaki, depicted by the ancient Sumerians, and the gods who visited the ancient Maya, Aztec, Toltec and Olmec civilizations are in fact the same? What do you think this mysterious bag is meant to represent? Do you think it is just a coincidence that these many sites, and there are more, all feature the same thing? What could have been carried by the gods that was so important? One of the earliest instances of the handbag motif can be seen in the ruins of Gobekli Tepe, located at the top of a mountain ridge in southeastern Turkey. Dating back to approximately 12,000 BC, Göbekli Tepe is the oldest temple complexes ever discovered. The exact purpose of the hilltop sanctuary is unknown. However, it appears that the temple may have served as a site for religious worship. The walls and pillars of the temple are decorated with finely carved animals, gods, and mythical creatures, perhaps in an effort to portray the many different creations of the cosmos. Experts believe that early religions worshipped the fundamental elements of life on Earth. Therefore, the 3 Göbekli Tepe handbags on the vulture stone, taken as an early form of those icons, could be said to symbolically define the site as a temple. We are already certain that there has been at least one major forgotten episode in human history, a lost civilization destroyed in the great cataclysms at the end of the last ice age. Much evidence connects that civilization to the time period of 10,500 BC. But the possibilities we are considering here are even more remarkable. The possibility that the system of knowledge may have been salvaged from its wreckage by survivors, and the possibility that ways may have been devised to distribute the knowledge around the world and transmit it to the future, down through the generations, perhaps even into modern times. From the Middle East to South America, the strange carving can be found. What do gods carry in the handbags? You may have seen images of mythological divine beings carrying peculiar handbags in their hands. Unfortunately, neither legends nor myths contain specific information about them. There were surely relevant explanations in the past, but humanity has lost understanding, so today we are hardly able to answer the question with confidence. Why were there so many identical, or very similar, symbolic elements in various historical epochs on different continents? Well, many people might ask whether such riddles should be solved at all. Indeed, today we have to solve complex puzzles imprinted in stone for millennia by our far-sighted ancestors. Judging by some discoveries of contemporary progressive researchers, a clear impression arises that the ancients were far from primitive hunters and gatherers, as mainstream historians would like us to believe. Our forefathers had totally different priorities in their lives, which enabled them to see a completely different picture of the world. Moreover, should our ancestors live nowadays, they would certainly be astonished by the senselessness of what we have built. In ancient times, gods were those whom people carved in stone, and this is beyond doubt. We may assume confidently that those gods were some spiritual beings, who visited the three-dimensional reality on the earth from time to time. Indeed, numerous analogies engraved in stone may be traced in the history of human civilization in various places and on different continents. It is very interesting that many researchers, prompted by the genuine aspiration for true knowledge, when they study historical records more profoundly, arrive at the following question: what was the cause of the sudden outburst of human knowledge, when there were no long-term evolutional or preconditions for such knowledge? For some reason, mainstream science persistently ignores the fact that in nearly all cases of such growth in medicine, science, metallurgy, agriculture, writing, mathematics and complex engineering and construction, the knowledge emerged unexpectedly, and for no visible reasons. Just like many other people who are free from deep-rooted orthodoxy, I ask how peoples and cultures achieved this knowledge, often leaving traces of technologies that cannot be explained even today. In my opinion, this is a very serious question, leading to an assumption that such growth in knowledge was due to a specific ancient culture, who brought spiritual and practical knowledge to humanity. A vivid example is ancient Egypt of the times of the 4th dynasty, when the Great Pyramids were built. Almost 5,000 years after the construction of the Egyptian pyramids, in our current age of the scientific and technical progress, we still have no idea how, and for what purpose those giant megalithic structures were built. Sensible people understand very well that mainstream science has covered such blank spots in history under an iron curtain, and corresponding subjects are strictly taboo. The main question is who brought the knowledge, and what are the handbags? Let me suggest a logical assumption that, when a god in human form holds something in their hand, this is certainly a very important object, and not a mere shopping bag for common items. In Gobekli Tepe we can draw a parallel between the symbolism of such handbags, and the times when primordial knowledge was brought into the world. A graphic example is the imagery carved on the vulture stone in Gobekli Tepe. We could certainly explain all this by accidental coincidences, as mainstream scientists usually do when they don't have solid evidence. However, the long list of analogies, where more and more facts are added with every new publication, should lead every reasonable person to this new hypothesis. So, what did gods carry in their handbags? They carried knowledge,